Hey bedheads, so today is Friday, which means that it should be a New York City adventure, but I'm going to switch things up just a little bit. So instead of every Friday having a New York City adventure, I'm just going to do that every other Friday, and then for the Fridays in between, I'm going to be doing New York City advice. Kind of, which it's just going to be me sitting here talking to you guys about my experience moving to New York, leaving my hometown, moving to a place I'd never been before, the struggles of finding an apartment here, finding a job, just kind of all of that. So it'll still be New York based, the videos on Friday. It'll just be every other week us going out, and then every other week me talking about advice and my experience with New York. This first one, I thought I would just do a little recap of my experience moving here, how I got here, all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna really talk about the prep of what I did in my hometown before I moved here, because that's going to be a different video, but this one's strictly just going to be how I got here. I am from Oklahoma, if you don't know that. Lived there my entire life, born and raised in Oklahoma. All of my immediate family, except for my little sister who lives with me now, lives there still. Aunts and uncles, cousins, pretty much everyone lives in Oklahoma, except for my mom's extended family. They live throughout places. So everyone I had kind of grown up with, all my family lives in Oklahoma. Just as kind of a backstory, I lived in a smaller town. It's like not a super small town, but it's pretty small, very homey, loved growing up there. So when I was looking at where to go to college, while I was in my senior year of high school, me and my best friend were looking at places to go to college. Neither of us really knew what we wanted to do as a career, where we really wanted to go to college, none of that. We really were just kind of like, oh, here's an easy college that is close by. We can come home on the weekends. It'll be awesome. It'll just be like an easier route. So we go and tour the college, and she thought it looked okay. She liked it, and I got like sick to my stomach, didn't want to go there. I was like, ugh. Like, I walked in and took the tour, and I called my dad afterwards and I was like, ugh, I do not want to spend the next 4 years here. I don't want to spend a year here. Like, it did not look good to me. I'm not saying it's not a good school. It's a great school. My best friend loves it. She actually ended up going there. I know a lot of people who love it there. So not saying it's a bad school or anything. I just knew that it was not right for me, that I didn't want to stay there, that I didn't want to go to school there. My dad was like, well, have you looked at any other options? And I was like, no, because I wasn't super enthusiastic about school. So that's when we started researching, looking at costs, talking about how much college costs, what my parents were gonna help me out with, what I needed to pay for, all that kind of stuff. I am a big planner. I'm also someone who has never been in debt. My parents have never really been in debt. They've just been really good with their money, been blessed. So I kind of grew up with that mindset of debt was just terrifying to me. I didn't want to be in debt. I didn't want to graduate and have all these student loans to pay off. I just, blah, I like didn't want it. So I was looking at like cheap colleges. My friends and family were all kind of like, well, what about like fashion? You should do something in fashion. I was super into fashion, always buying new clothes, dressing up, always had a different outfit on, and it was really important to me. So I was like, okay, you're right. Like, I really enjoy fashion, might as well. So that's when FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, came up on my list, and it was the most affordable, but not like a community college or anything. So it was like a well-known school, had great reviews, everything that we like looked at was awesome. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to move to New York. And my parents were like, yeah, definitely. I mean, at least it's something to look into. So I started praying about it. I felt like God was telling me to move, which my memory is so bad, and I don't know why I don't like write detailed stories about like what I'm feeling or in a journal, like everything that I thought, or the whole process of feelings and emotions and thoughts about should I go to New York, should I not. But what I do remember is being nervous about telling anyone. I didn't even want to tell anyone that I like thought about moving to New York, because I felt like people were gonna laugh at me. I didn't know anyone in New York, didn't know anyone who had ever even really been to New York. Besides my sister, she went for her honeymoon, but other than that, that was like really it. My mom's originally from here, but never ever talked about it. Doesn't really remember remember a ton about it. My grandparents never really talked about it either. So I really had no knowledge of New York except for what I had seen in movies. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I was just really nervous about moving here because in my small town, everyone was like, oh my gosh, New York is so scary. Like, you better be careful. That's not a place for a single 18-year-old. You know, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really hard. It's so expensive. It's almost impossible. Getting a job is like the toughest thing ever. Everyone's like fighting for jobs there. There are all these scary people with guns and gangs and homeless people, and the streets are filled with trash and like dead bodies everywhere. Basically, that's what kind of I was hearing from people, so I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I really want to do this? Especially, I had never even lived by myself. I was fresh out of high school. So all that being said, I ended up feeling like God was telling me to move. So I slowly started telling other people that I was moving to New York. I think I didn't want to tell people because what if I didn't end up moving? It felt like such a far off dream that I almost was like, this can't be happening. Like, I'm not really moving. And when I did tell a few people, I got really bad reactions. I had like some people kind of laugh and just, I don't know, didn't even think about it, just kind of like laughed when I told them. I had some people come up to me and be like, I heard you're moving to New York, why? Just like really rude. People tell me, you're gonna lose all your friends. I had an adult tell me, you and Morgan aren't gonna be friends anymore. You're gonna lose all your friends if you move to New York, and was even telling Morgan like, hey, you should basically stop being friends with Bethany because she's moving to New York and it's not gonna work out and you need to find your own friends in college. So it was all kind of like confusing, and I felt like I was gonna lose all my friends, and I felt like I wasn't gonna be able to talk to my family anymore, and all of the security and everything that I had kind of built from the ground up of like growing up, all of those relationships I was going to be losing, and all for a place I'd never been, all from what I thought God was telling me to do. That's kind of just my experience. I ended up leaving Oklahoma on, I want to say June 31st, 2015. My immediate family, including my brother-in-law, we packed up a minivan and a U-Haul, got on the road, and I'm here. Yeah, that's pretty much my story of deciding to move to New York. If you want me to go into detail about the process of getting from point A to point B and all of the prep work and all of that stuff, let me know in the comment section down below because I'd be happy to do that for you. I'll probably do it anyways, but just let me know. If you have any questions at all, I'd love to answer them. If you enjoyed this video or if you like the idea of New York City advice, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions at all about moving to New York, my thoughts, my feelings, reality of what it's like, money, all of that sort of stuff, definitely leave the questions in the comment section down below. Ask me on Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of the above. Just to let me know what you guys think, if you guys have questions, all of that stuff, and I will see you bedheads in the next video. Have a good weekend. Mwah.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These little town blues are melting away. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New